Hello, it is I, Enrolf FX, and guess what we're gonna do today? An intro tutorial. I'm doing this before I leave, before I quit forever. And maybe there's a reference, in case I want to go back and I don't know how to use After Effects, and I just have everything laying around still. So, I guess let's get into it. This is gonna be like a no plugin tutorial, because yes. Let's get into it. So firstly, you want to find a song. I'm gonna use this one, this song here. You can use it as well, but I recommend you use your own song because it's easier to use your own song. I'm gonna copy it and I'm just gonna, oh god, I don't know what I did. Hang on. Let's copy this again. I accidentally pressed C, that's what I did. Okay, so we take the song, we go into like an MP3 kind of YouTube to MP3 thing. I'm gonna use this. I recommend you use this actually because it actually gives you like a way better song sound thing. So yeah, and then we just convert it, and then there you go. You've downloaded the song, and now it's downloading, and then it'll take a while, and then it'll be done. There you go, completed. Congratulations, you downloaded a song. Now we're gonna open up After Effects. You can just search up After Effects after you finish installing it. I'm not gonna show you how to do it because that's just on you. You can figure out how to install After Effects. But it'll just let it load up and everything. It'll load up. Yours probably is gonna go quicker because mine has plugins and stuff, but we're not gonna use the plugins for today. We're gonna use base vanilla After Effects. So you open it up already, and you're probably confused. What is this? What's this project thing? What is the composition? What is all this? I don't get it. Well, I'm assuming this is what your layout is gonna look like. I used to use this. What is this? No. Well, I used to use this, but I don't really like it. So I just put it to standard. This one actually looks way better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new composition here. So you just press new composition, and then you can name this whatever. I'm gonna keep it as comp1. We're gonna make this that time. I mean, it's by default. I don't know what it is, but just if it isn't 10 seconds or something, just make it 10 seconds. I recommend at least 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. And make sure the frame rate is 60 FPS, and that drop frames is, I mean, it's already gonna be grayed out, so you don't need to worry about it. And make sure the aspect ratio is 1920 by 1080, unless you want to do 4K, but I highly doubt you want to do 4K, so yeah. And the background color should also be black. It doesn't really matter what the background color is, or whatever. You can just make it black there, because we need to add stuff to it, and whatever, so yeah. Don't worry about that, and just press OK. Now you have this. So you're already confused, you have this thing here. This is basically like a transparent layer here. So when you export this as an MRV, it'll be like a transparent thing you can put it on. It's like a way better green screen basically. This here is for masks and stuff. You'll see what I mean later on, I guess. And then these are all of your windows here. This is where your project stuff, it'll be your composition, all the files that you import in, and all that stuff. And this is the align tool, paragraphs, preview, so you can change up stuff here for preview, what you used to play the thing. Just keep it as spacebar, I guess. And then your frame rate, the preview should go by. You don't need to worry about the preview for now. Well, what we want is have the align window up firstly, because I'm pretty sure by default it just doesn't show up. It's just really dumb. So you go up to here, window, then align, and then it'll just give it to you. There's also other stuff up here. Don't worry about it. You also want to have an effects and presets window. So go to window and then effects and presets, or just press Control 5, and then you can get it and stuff. So yeah, character as well. I mean, it's gonna come up by default when you press the text layer here, which we're not gonna do now. We're gonna deal with that later because we have to do our song stuff. So go to your downloads and take the song that we are going to use. Oh dear, okay. This is a song we're gonna use. So you go down to this arrow here, click it, then audio, and then waveform, and then it'll show you a waveform here. And this is basically an easier way to see where the drop is and stuff like that. So we're gonna drag it a little bit, because if we put it at the start, then it'll be, let me show you. The start is just, it's just that, right? So we want to obviously change it. So again, that arrow audio waveform, and then you just drag it around until you find the area that you want for your song. So it's not going to be there yet. It's just going to keep on dragging it. It takes a while, but we're almost there. Hang on. This should be fine. Okay, that's where we want to do it. I'm going to increase my volume. Hopefully I don't get blasted. But yeah. Yeah, that's where we want to do it. So I want to end it like around here somewhere. So you can see over here is the time thing. You can drag this around, but in my case, what I want to do is I want to click it, and you can see I can basically copy this. So we can do Control C, and then we can go to Comp 1 here and then just paste it in, and like that's way more easier than just looking at here and then doing it. So now that we cropped it out to how much we wanted and all that stuff, we've made our edits and stuff, we can now actually get into the real deal, which is syncing the beats and adding a fade in, fade out. It's basically a really basic kind of way of doing it, and the reason why I want to go with the basic way is because I don't really think you need all the fancy audio editing. If you want to learn that, you let me know, I guess. I don't really remember, but whatever. So what we want to do is we're going to go to and look for the beat drop. In my case, it's right here. And we want to press this stopwatch here. It's like CM3 basically. If you press a stopwatch, you add a keyframe, and then this can add more keyframes and stuff. So we want to add a keyframe right at the beat drop, and then we go all the way to the start. We press the diamond again, and then we make this here, the decibels, -50. And it'll kind of create a fade in. Perfect, so we're gonna end it over here, right here. And then we press the diamond here again. And this time we go all the way to the end, and then we make it again -50. There's one thing you should be careful of. If you press this and it'll select all of these keyframes, and then if you do -50 in that case, you'll see it just quiets down everything. So if you do that, you could just like undo it, Control Z. And then you just do it again, because you don't want to select everything. You just want to deselect it and then just select the keyframe that you want to change by just clicking on here. You can even like drag it onto like whichever ones you want and stuff like that. So like, yeah, that's just one thing to be aware of, because I know a lot of people are going to do that. So now that we have the fade in, fade out stuff, we're going to create our keyframe, our markers. So what we're going to do is going to right click, keyframe assistant over here, then convert audio to keyframes. And what this will do is this will basically just create a waveform, but this time in keyframes. You can do it as the waveform, but I found that this is way easier for finding beats and stuff. So what we want to do is, normally you'd want to open this, but it's too much effort. We're going to delete these two because we don't need them. We're going to use the slider here, and basically you just open this up and then go to effects, and then you select, I should show that actually. I don't know why I shouldn't show it. So you right click here, keyframe assistant, audio to keyframe. You open this arrow up here, then you go to effects, and then you select these two, shift and then click. You hold on shift and then click it. Then you press backspace, and then you can, oh dear, okay, there we go. You don't want to press that stopwatch either, because that'll just remove all of your keyframes. So you click on this, and then you go into here, which is the graph editor, and you can see it shows you all the beats, and I think it's okay. Yeah, it's close enough. Okay, so we want to go to each of the peaks, and we want to add a marker. So, and I also recommend using the song as reference, because then you know, like, oh, there's like a few that you missed and stuff. So right here is one. And then we just go around. there's one here. Hang on. You can't really tell. Yeah, there's one here. And right here. And then no, that one was way too quick. Okay, it takes a while. I should have mentioned this. You just press this and then you add a marker, and then you can also move the marker around. So if, let's say I put this, and I put it where I want to do, but let's just say like it's the beats like here, and then you put it in the wrong spot, you can just move it and stuff. So yeah. I think I did this right. Okay. All right, that's all good. That's how we do it. Okay. So that's how you get all the markers and stuff. Also, how did I not do that? Okay, hang on. Okay. I don't know why I didn't do that, but yeah, this meant to be a fade out there. So now we have the markers. I recommend you double check it before you go into the next step. So I'm gonna just double check it. I'm gonna remove this one. So what you can do, if you want to remove a marker, you just hold it and you just drag it all the way to here, and then it'll just remove it. The reason why I removed that one is because I don't know, it just didn't feel right. The entire song is just weird, but it just doesn't matter. So now that we have these, one really important thing you should do before you do anything else is you lock these markers, because if you're like editing then you just move it, then like it's gonna be really annoying and just tedious because you have to go and resync it and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click the marker, and then like any marker really, and you can just press lock markers, and you can see all of these markers, they're playing that error sound. So that's a good thing. We want that because we don't want to move these things and whatever. So now that we have all of this sorted, what we're going to do is we're going to pre-comp this and then call it song. And then we move all the attributes into this new composition, and then we press OK. And now we have this song inside of this. Yeah, you can tell I'm just copying the Tom Rank tutorial, but it's how I learned it, so we're going to go with it. So now that we have the song pre-comp and everything, what we're going to do is we're going to now add secondary markers. And the reason why is because you can use J and K to move to areas with keyframes, or alternatively you can add like these little markers by pressing the numpad star on your keyboard if you have a numpad. If you don't, then you can skip the step. I'm pretty sure there's another way to do it. I don't know what it is there. So you just press that, and then you can see it creates one of these things, and you can like press K and J to move to it. It's basically like a keyframe, and you can also remove it and it just goes away. So pretty nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to each of these by pressing 1. You could go 1 through 9. You can't go past and then to 10 and stuff. It just doesn't work. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna press star, and then to each of them we're just gonna press star. Like you just like you can do it really quickly like that. And you can see now we can just like go to each of them quickly instead of just like pressing the numbers and stuff, you know. It's way more convenient essentially because you just press like 2 buttons and stuff. Pretty useful. So you just go to the 10 now. Basically what you do is you just hold this, hold the left button to move it on the timeline, and you hold shift, and you can see you can just do that. You could do it like that, but I prefer just pressing J and K. So you could just hold shift and drag, and then press that start button on your numpad if you have one. But now we have this, and we also want to lock these as well. So again, you right click it for any of them and just press lock markers, and yeah, it's locked all of them essentially. So now that we have the song all sorted out and stuff, we can now go into the real deal. Now we can go into the text. So what you do, oh my god, I hate that. Okay. You go into here, new comp here. This is where you create a new composition, and then you create text. So you call the composition name text, and you leave everything here as is because it's just copying out the stuff from comp 1, which is pretty convenient. So now that we have this, we can create some text. So obviously you go to this text tool here, you press it, and you can see the character thing open up. Now the color by default should be white. I had to blue because different intro stuff, so we're gonna keep it white. This is literally where you just change the color of the text. In my case, actually, nah, we're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna create new text. So you just click on this area here. This is your workstation here. You just press it, and then it'll add the text thing. I'm gonna call this tutorial. And then we can just like mess around with it a little bit. So in order to actually edit these things, I'm going to put this to full. You can put this to auto, but if I put this to full, I can actually see what the text looks like. It's more or less the centerpiece, so that's why we want to put it to full. And this is also off-centered, so what we want to do is we want to go to the align tool, and we want to just press this here, which hang on, let's set it here. It aligns it this way, and then this here aligns it this way, so it's just like fully centered now. And now we can like mess around with this stuff. So in my case, this is a little too far away and a little too small, so we can use this here, the font size, and we can increase it. And you can see it gets big, but it goes big like this way. I don't know how to explain it, but this is the best way I can explain it. There's no annotating tool in here, so it's a bit complicated. But we can essentially realign it by pressing this and this again. These two are what you're gonna use the most, because you want to make sure everything is centered and whatnot. But we want to select all this, and now we can actually like mess around. Here, this changes the font spacing, so you can see each character spacing changes accordingly. And I want to bring it a bit more closer because it looked weird without it. So now that it's closer, I think that this is good enough for an intro tutorial. This is the basic you need, and you can also change your font on here. I had it set to default as American Captain because that was the last one I chose, but it could be like Arial or something. You just want to take American Captain. And if you don't know how to install fonts, you just get the TTF or the OTF file, and then you just click install here. I already installed it, so I don't need to install it. And then once you do that, you also have to restart your After Effects and stuff. So I recommend you save your project. So you just do Control S, and then you save it wherever. I'm not going to save it on my hard drive. Save it onto my actual computer as intro tutorial. There you go. There we go. Save it. So now we have it there. It's my OneDrive. Oh my god. Okay, it's fine. We can manage. Everything gets saved on OneDrive for some reason. That's why I just save it on my hard drive. So that's fine. We can deal with it. So now that we have the text, we're gonna now add effects. So you get the effects at presets window, and you search up gradient ramp. You can see it already comes up, and we want to create a gradient on here. So you could swap the colors with these, and you can bring the ramp stuff closer, like the start and the end of the ramp. So you can see this one is closer and stuff, and then you can bring this closer, and you can see it makes it darker, brighter, and yeah, you want to bring it closer to the text essentially. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this white here to like a different color. So finally, we're adding some color. It's just make it like purple. I'm going to make it purple. You can make it whatever color your heart desires. I won't mind. But now we have the most basic text here. You can swap these around, you can make it whatever. I'm gonna keep it like this because it looks nice. And now we want to add a kind of shine to it because this looks really flat, obviously. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do right click, then layer styles, and then bevel and emboss. This is like one way of doing it, but I can show you another way. So what we want to do is we want to make the size here bigger, and also it should open this up by default. If it doesn't, then just go into arrow, then layer styles, and then bevel and emboss, and then you can go into here and then change the size and stuff. So you can see it creates like a little shadow as well. I don't want that strong of a shadow, and like it looks weird without a shadow, so like at least add a bit of shadow, but not too much that it looks weird. So that's basically good, I guess. And then we want to add a bit more light, so it has a nice little shine to it, and that should be good. You can do it like this. I'm gonna turn this off. You can turn off these things by pressing the I over here. Alternatively, you can use a CC shine, CC light wipe, actually, the CC light wipe right here. So you search up the effects preset CC light wipe, and then, oh god, my Siri turned on. That's no, okay. My Siri turned on.
You'll need to unlock your own
no!
first.
Stupid Siri, okay, anyways. So that's not the right one, actually. I just realized CC light sweep is what you want to find. So CC light sweep, you can see now there's this shine here, and what we want to do is we want to make the width bigger here, so just until it like covers the entire text and stuff, because that's what we want. You can also move this a bit more here because it's like on an angle. You can just make this straight there, but like that's just not gonna work, you know? So we have that, but you can see it kind of just saturates our text. So what we want to do is we want to remove the sweep intensity, and you can see now it's back to that thing, and you can see there's like a little bit of like shine over here. So we want to just do the edge intensity a bit more, and you can see that we get some shine. It's really basic shine, but compared to this, you could also turn off effects by pressing this here, but compared to this, hang on, let me see. So you're just gonna see like between both which one looks the best, because it's better to do that. Let me see if this looks right. That should be good. I think the bevel and emboss does a better job. Maybe birth. Okay, can I just add birth? I don't think I want to add birth. That would look weird. I mean, it looks kind of okay. Hang on. It just adds a bit to it, I guess. Yeah, it just adds like a little bit. And that's about it. I guess maybe we can go with it. Maybe keeping this at 20 was fine. I'm gonna go with birth. Sure, you can do whatever. You can make it that one, or you can just use bevel and emboss, or you can just, you know, the possibilities are endless. Yeah, it adds a little bit more here. It looks nice. So yeah, now that we have this here, we can now create the stroke for this, because obviously we can't just ship it like this. It looks stupid. So let's go here, right click on the text, layer style, and then stroke, and you can see it adds this red thing, and it looks disgusting. It looks hideous. You wouldn't like that. So you can see it opened it up, but you can see it didn't open this up entirely. So let's just close this out for now by pressing on that arrow, because we don't need it. And we're going to open up stroke, and now we can increase the size over here, and we're going to change the color actually. It's the first thing you should do. Change the color. It doesn't look nice. It looks horrendous. Okay. But yeah, we can now have this nice gray. One thing about gradients though that I don't like is the fact that it can mess with your head a little bit, because sometimes, because of the way that colors are and stuff, it makes you think that this stroke has a gradient. I don't know if it's just me, but it messes with my head. Either that, or I'm just not okay. But yeah, you get this nice text. We have this text here. We can make this darker and stuff on here. And yeah, I guess that does it. I get a little bit. maybe Let me think. Okay, so maybe if we remove the shadow, nah, it looks too flat. You don't want that much there. It looks weird then. Oh, I'm in a kerfuffle. This is what you have to deal with when you're doing stuff like this. Yeah, this looks too flat. I think bevel and emboss would look nice. Let's just keep it at bevel and emboss, and then with the shine as well. It just adds a bit more, I guess. And this is it works. It works. If it works, it works. So we have the stroke here now. It's pretty simple. Again, you just added the thickness. I think this much is good. Like, how much did I have it? Like 10.4. I think 10.4 is fine for the text. Again, mess with the values to your liking, and then also obviously like change the gray and whatnot and all that stuff. So now that we have our nice text here, we want to add the bevel and stuff. So we right click this here and then pre-comp it, and this should be grayed out by default and just be move all attributes, and you can call this whatever. I'm just gonna leave it. It basically just tells me that the text is in there. I mean, to you it could be different. So yeah. So now that we have this is the complicated part. We have to move this down here and create the bevel. This is the Wolfie way, essentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this here. This is the anchor point tool. So what this does is it moves the anchor point around. Pretty sure you can just move the anchor point, right? Like, no, you can't. Okay, I lied. But yeah, you need this tool to remove the anchor point. And what you want to do is we want to hold control, and I think on there, just hold control, and then just move it down here, down over there. And the reason why I want to do this is because when we duplicate this, which is what we're going to do, we're going to duplicate it, and we want to take this one at the bottom, and you want to press S and then scale it down to like 99. And you can see now it's starting to create this little bevel type thing. And yeah, I think you can see where I'm going with this. You're gonna have to keep on doing that. So yeah, it's a bit of a complicated one. There's another way, but I forgot how to do that one. So this is a one way to do it without plugins. So again, duplicate and then do 98. That should be okay. Yeah, that should be good. I hope that doesn't mess around. So just duplicate this one and then scale it down. Duplicate the one underneath and then scale that thing down. So this one has to be 97. And you keep on going until, oh, wait, hang on. No, I messed that up. Okay, hang on. That's not how you do it. Just take the bottom one. Yeah, just make the bottom. Just deal with the far bottomest, if that makes sense. Why is this? Let's make that 99. There we go. So yeah, you just have to deal with the far bottomest. Just go with this one here again, 96. You can do it like manually typing it, or alternatively, you can, again, I'm pressing S here to scale it down, so then it just opens up like that one thing. And what we can do is we can, alright, well, let me show it to you properly. So you take this here, you just press the arrow key, and you can see it just does it for you by one value, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to duplicate this, 94, and then we just keep on going essentially. I'm going to fit this up to 100% because I need to see how thick we're making it. 92, oh dear, 91. I feel like it goes on for a long time. This is the simplest you can go, really. And I'm doing it the simple way. Not really, but I know that there's a way to do it with shapes and stuff, but I forgot how to do that one. I think this should be good enough. The thickness, yeah, I guess. How many layers do we make? 14 of them. Okay, well, maybe 13 if we don't count this first one here. So now that we have this here, we have to now add a bit of a shading to it. We have to add some shading because this obviously it looks odd, as it just looks cheap, really. So what we're gonna do, oh dear, fit up at 100%. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add a adjustment layer and then reduce the hue of this. But there's a problem here. We can't really add anything here because, I mean, you could, you can't. It's a little bit impossible. You can over here, but it's too much effort. It's too complicated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna press the tilde or the squiggly line one on your keyboard, and when you do that, you can see it just expands the window here. And you can do that with anything. You can expand this, like you can expand any of them. You can't expand this, but you can expand like all of this here. So we want to expand this with our tilde key. Then you do new and then adjustment layer. And then you bring this below one of the layers. And then we press the tilde key again to get back to our normal thing. And then we add a hue / saturation. And then we just reduce the lightness down a lot. We're going to use this later on, I think. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. I'm going to make the stroke here a little bit less. So you can just go back into here and make the stroke less. So then it's a bit more darker. There you go. Looks half decent. We have to. I'm going to make this stroke a bit more bigger. This just looks weird. I don't know why. No, that's way too big. That should do it, I guess. Yeah, that looks good. So now that we have this all sorted, we're gonna select everything on here. We can do Control A, I think. Yeah, you can do Control A, and then you can just do right click, then pre-compose, and then you just put it into a pre-composition. You can name this. I'm not gonna do that. And it'll just put everything into a pre-comp, and now we can just do it all with the one thing. So it's pretty nice. Also, sometimes this might just like move, like if I were to do that, you can see it just moves it a little bit because it has to expand it to fit it and minimize whatever. So we can just drag this here, and then it'll just fix up, which is pretty nice. So we're gonna now add a warp to this. So you have this selected, and then over here you search up warp, and you select this one over here. We're gonna deal with mesh warps one day. I'm not show you how to do it now. So you can see it bends it a little bit. So what we want to do is we're gonna make the bend here 0, and then make the vertical distortion here like 10, I think. If you can mess this around with it, and you can see it looks a bit short right now. So we can just again go down here and then just reduce it, and then just like keep on going until it like looks at least somewhat nice. Why is it? Oh dear, it's a rendering bug. Okay, it's a rendering bug. It's fine. Sometimes there are rendering bugs in After Effects. I don't know why. But yeah, now we have this, and we can now add a warp. I mean, not a warp. We already added a warp. You can also add like a bend, so you can add like a little bit on here. Let's see, it does that a little bit, but this isn't really the best way to do it. Use a mesh warp, but I'm not gonna show it to you today. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add a outline stroke here. So you right click here again, layer style, and then stroke. And then we make this not red but white, okay? Make it white, okay? And then you can increase it. You can make this any color actually. You can make it red if you want, but it doesn't look good. I can make it purple, maybe like a baby brightish. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Yeah, that looks a little better. So yeah, now that we have this text, we can now go into our main comp where our song is, and then we just drag in this text composition, and there you go. You have your full finished text. Congratulations, you did it. Are you too proud of yourself? I know you're proud of yourself. Yeah. So now we have this text here. We're gonna add some animations to it because, well, it can't just be one thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna enter into here. So we're gonna press S on our keyboard, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a bounce thing. Now this is where I introduce you to expressions. So I think I have this text bounce script right here. I'm gonna leave the link for this in the description, so then you can just use it and stuff. So we take this here. This is basically creating a bounce. I could try and explain it, but I don't know what this does. The most I can tell is it creates a velocity, and then there's like these 3 values that you can mess around with, but we're not gonna mess around with it because we need it to be that value. but you can reduce it and stuff to make it bouncy or less bouncy and stuff like that. So we're gonna select all of this here. These are all of the stuff that we're gonna use, and then we're gonna press Control C, and then we go back into After Effects. And then what we're gonna do is on the stopwatch for the scale. This is important. You do it on the scale, not on any other ones. You hold Alt, and then you press the stopwatch. And then what this does is it opens up this like text thing here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace this here with, and then we just Control V, and then we just click out of it, and you can see it created our thing here. We can just click on this again to expand it and see what we're dealing with. But don't edit anything, because I hope you know. I mean, unless you know what you're doing, I wouldn't really recommend editing it. But yeah, you can also like get rid of this by just pressing the arrow key over here. And now we have a bounce. I may be thinking, oh, what was the point of doing that? Huh? Why are we doing this? Okay, well, firstly, listen to me. Secondly, it's very important. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna press on the stopwatch over here, and then we're gonna go at least maybe we're gonna go into this next frame here, over here, and then we're gonna make another keyframe. And then over here, we're gonna make the first keyframe over here 0. The second one should be 100. And you can see, like by basic, it just like creates like a little bit of a bounce like over here, just a little bit. But we don't want that. We want to make a full-on bounce onto it. So diamond, you press on the first one. You select the first keyframe, then you press F9. And what this does is it adds like a smoother easing. I could go into more detail, but I can't be asked. So we want to go to this keyframe here, and we want to bring it closer to here, at least like kind of touching. I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 frames maybe. You can make it closer. But yeah, you can see it does that. And we want to bring both of these closer by just selecting all of them and then just bringing it a bit more closer. Okay. Now we're gonna add a rotation. So you press R, and then you can see you get the rotation and stuff. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create nice little rotations, and this is where I'm gonna explain more on what the F9 easing thing is. It's called easy easing, but I'm just gonna go into more detail right now. So we're gonna press the watch here again to add a rotation. You press R to open up the rotation one, and then we go to we have to skip one marker and then go to the next marker, or however you suit. If you want to do a fast one, go for it. We want to go to the next marker, and then want to add another keyframe. Now with this, you can do 360 because that's what one full rotation is, but you can see it does one here. And that's because this basically is like another way of saying, oh, do like one full rotation rather than just like writing down 360. It's very convenient. So what we want to do is we want to make this 1, which will basically tell After Effects do one full rotation of this text. And you can see right now that is just not what you want. It's very, very weird. It's snappy. It works in some cases if you do it right, but we don't want it right now. So we're gonna go to the marker in between, and we're gonna select both of these, and again press F9. Now this time it's a bit more smoother, but again it looks very linear and depressing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in between here to the 4th keyframe over here, and then we're gonna make sure this is selected, both of these keyframes. Make sure that is the case, because when it isn't selected, then it just won't show up on here on the graph editor, which is what we're going to use. And so yeah, we just select it, and then you can see it'll show up on the graph editor. What we're going to do is we're going to select both of these here, and then we're going to adjust it so then there's a peak onto here. This basically just lets us create a nice keyframe that like creates good easing. So I think by default you're gonna have the value graph. If you know how to do stuff like this, you can. I I honestly don't think that this is the best for stuff like this. It's better for like other stuff because I mean made a decent rotation, but it just doesn't work. So oh my god, okay. Another thing, if you just so happen to go a bit too far, and this becomes linear again, you can press this here, and this will create an easy ease for you. So yeah, we're not gonna use a value graph. We're gonna go to speed graph, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. You can drag these here, and you can make it like the peak right where you want it. So it basically just shows you the speed that it's going to go. So it's going to start off by not doing much, but then it slowly rises up here, and then it just goes back down because this is where it's ending, right? That's what we want. So yeah, we're going to bring this closer, and you can also zoom in with this here. So yeah, now that we have that, let's zoom back out with this here. Yeah, that should do it. Now I'm gonna save. I should do that. It's important that you save. Alright. Now that we have the text here, we want to crop it out a bit, because if we just have this at the start, it actually makes our render times when we're rendering it a bit more longer. So we just want to crop it out a bit. So right before the thing starts, you can press S and see like when it starts by holding Shift and then dragging this around. You can see it starts right here. We want to crop it out over here and then delete the unused bit. What I did is I did Control-Shift-D, and it'll just kind of crop it out for you. You can you'll still get the scaling, bounce stuff, and all that. Everything gets copied, but we don't need this bit here. So we just press backspace, and you can see now we just have it more cropped, and it's like way more better basically. Okay, so now we want to crop out this bit here. Now what I'm thinking of doing a transition over here, it's like a just normal wipe. We want to go to the end, like a bit far, like around here maybe, and like just be arbitrary with it. It doesn't really matter, well, as long as it isn't within the wipe or whatever. And we just do again Control-Shift-D, and then we just delete this one here that's already selected. Alright, now we can create the background. Woo! We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Come on. Okay, so again, create a new composition and then call it BG. You can call it background. I'm calling it BG because BG. It's short for background, so it works. So now that you have this, one very important thing there is for the background, you have to have a solid. It's very important because when you render it, then it'll basically show like a transparent thing, and it looks weird and it looks stupid, and you don't want that. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing this button here to open up this alpha thing, which basically shows it's transparent. So like if I were to say add a rectangle here, you can see this is going to be on top of the transparent layer, which is what we want. In our case, we don't want that because we're making a background. So we're going to create a solid. So you probably think, oh, I could just add this here, remove that, whatever, and do that. We're not going to do that because that's just too much effort. What we're going to do instead is we're going to add a solid, which basically creates a square, and it's exactly the size of what you're trying to make in the composition. Like it's the exact like aspect ratio and stuff like that for this here, our window, whatever. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do right click on here, new, and then solid, and you can see it opens up this solid window here. You call it solid whatever. I'm gonna call it black solid 1 because that's the default name. and it should be 1920 by 1080. If it isn't, then change it to that, and make sure the color is black. For our case, if you wanna make it a different color, again, you can change it over here. This time you're allowed to. Okay, you can change it to whatever. It doesn't really matter. I won't judge you because you're making it whatever color. So we could just make it black solid, and then we could click OK, and you can see it just removes that alpha background thing. So we can just like turn this off now because we can't see it. So yeah, this is what we want. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to create our background stuff. So the first thing is kind of like a fractal thing, maybe. Or no, let's keep it simple. If I want to keep it simple, okay. I'm thinking, yeah, let's go back in time, okay? If you're back in the if you knew me back in the days, you know I had like this fractal thing and then like CC bubbles. Let's just do that. It's easier. it's making you the next people, you know. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this here because we obviously need this background here. We want to duplicate this. So what you do is you do Control D. I don't know if I told you this actually. Did I? I hope I did. Okay, well you do Control D when you're duplicating text. So when you're duplicating stuff, you do Control D. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this solid here. And this basically just helps us save on resources because our solids actually go over here. You can see our adjustment layer that we used is over here. The audio amplitude that we used to create the audio and stuff. They're all for some reason solids. Even the adjustment layer, I don't know why it is, but it just says. So again, we're gonna duplicate it. And now we're gonna create our fractals. So you okay, we're gonna go into the effects and presets tab and then do fractal noise right here and under noising ring, and you can see it creates this noise thing over here. It's weird. It's like clouds and stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're going to stretch this out because we don't want it to be cloudy and stuff. So what you do is under here you go into transform, and then you can see that you have the scale thing, but it's all together basically because, well, it wants to be all together, which is not what we want there. So what we're gonna do is we are going to uncheck uniform scaling, which basically now lets us edit any of these values here. Like we can make this that and whatnot. What we want for the scale height to be there is very high. Like just do like 1 and then just like a billion zeros. And you can see it stretches it out all the way. Because at some point it's obviously gonna cap, so it's just add as many zeros as your heart pleases. It's just gonna cap by default. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then we're in trouble. Make sure the scale width is 100. You can change this if you want, but in my case, I am gonna keep it as 100. And this is basically how you create a fractal burst per se, but we're creating a little fractal over here this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the contrast here so then it's a bit more brighter when we're doing the hue changing, like the color changing and stuff, and then also reduce the brightness a little bit. So this is what you get now. Now you could keep it like this, but it looks boring, right? It's just a stagnant whatever. So we're going to go to evolution here, and we're going to click on the stopwatch. And then we go all the way to the end, and you can see like there's a diamond here to add a new keyframe, but a nice feature in After Effects is that if you were to change a value while you're away, as long as you're away from the initial keyframe, which in our case is over here, you can press U to open this up, the keyframes that you need. But what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to the end, and we're going to create this to be 4. You can't just press U and then do it, but it's way more convenient when you can just like go in and then go to the end and add a new number and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. And you can see now it's moving. Hooray! Yeah, we did it. I'm gonna keep this a quarter actually. It's way more quicker if I just put in a quarter now. And you can see it just, yeah, it just moves. One important thing actually. Yeah, you probably already realized I didn't mention it. This is low quality, and that's because I'm putting a quarter, so then it's quicker and easier to preview it because it's important to actually be able to see what's happening as quickly as possible, because if you can't see it like in time, then it's making your creative process slower. Real life advice here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to crop this up so then it's like this size basically. And we could just do this, but we're not going to do that. That's just stupid. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to add a hue saturation first. So again, go into your effects and presets, do hue/saturation. And now you can see we could use this as much as we want, but it isn't changing this, and that's because this is using like black and white basically, with like grays in the middle. Like that's it. That's all this is. So since we don't want that, we want to make this colorful and stuff. So we go to colorize here, and you can see it's a bit desaturated. And to fix that, you can just make this 100. You can drag this around, or you can just write down 100. You know. And you can see it's very bright now. It's like very saturated, and you can also make it like bright or dark. You know, I'm gonna keep it to 0 for now, and we can change this to whatever color you made your text, or whatever complementary color you want to use. So now we have it at purple, I think. Hang on. Yeah, that should do it. I'm using this as reference so then I know like how close to the color I am. So yeah, now we have it to this color. We're gonna create a mask for this. So you can see this shape here that I used to mess around with. Oh, I already made a mask. Ooh, spoilers. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a mask. So we already showed you how to make a shape and stuff, but you can also use this to create a mask. I already showed you by accidentally doing it, but you can literally just press on a layer and then just drag it, and it will create a mask and all that stuff. But that's not how we want to do it, because we want to create this entire thing as a mask so that we can like crop out this much. So what you do is you double click this tool here, and then you can see while we have this selected as well, because if you don't, it'll just create a rectangle by default, which is not what we want. We want to create a mask. So this mask here is now you just select this again, and then you double click it, and then you create the mask. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into here, make sure the mask is also selected, and you double click on this here, and then you see like it allows you to change it a bit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drag this down here, and we want to go about halfway, maybe this much will do. And you can see that it does that. However, it looks a bit weird because it just stops halfway, you know. Doesn't look too appeasing. So again, while you have the mask open and whatnot, you can see here mask feather. You just drag this out until you get the amount you desire. And I'm also gonna move this up a bit because it looks a bit weird. So there you go. That is how you create a fractal thingy. So now that we have this, you can press R, and then we can make this like 45 degrees, and then just move this down here. And there you go. Now you have this here, and now it looks a bit bland. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add maybe a CC starburst, because I don't think bubbles will look too appealing. So we're gonna create a new solid. So you do right click, new, and then solid, and then you just change the color this time to white. You can also create a solid by doing Control Y, and it'll create a new solid. And if you want to edit a solid, you do Control Shift Y, and then you can edit it and whatnot. So yeah. Now that we have this, we're not going to change up the shape and whatnot. We're going to add a effect called CC Star Burst. It's under simulation. You're going to find it immediately. I'm pretty sure this is the only thing I call CC Star Burst. But now what we're gonna do, you can see there's a lot of stars, you know, and it looks fine, I guess, but it looks like it's snowing, and the snow is just coming right at your face. That's sus. Okay. What we're gonna do is we want to change the scatter over here to something that you like. So I'm gonna go into full res so that I can see what it will look like if it's in full res. And yeah, this is how much I'm gonna do, 912. Maybe I'll do a bit less. No, yeah, that should be good. not half full, there we go. Yeah, that should do it. So now we have this here, but we need a bit more stuff here. So by default, you'd add a nice old, big old donut thing. It's like a stroke donut thingy. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go into the shape here, and I think by default this is how it comes, whereas like you don't have anything here, so it'll just be an invisible shape. But in our case we want that, obviously, so we're gonna leave the fill as is. If it isn't like that, then you just press on none over here by going into the text that says fill, and then you press on none, and you press OK. And then you can also go into stroke here, and then you press this, it'll be solid color. And yeah, now we have the stroke of our shape. What we want is we want to make this 120, the stroke size, so that it's a bit more bigger. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hold shift, and then we're going to drag onto here. And what this does is it kind of just constrains the size of this, because this is meant to be like a square. But if when you let go of shift, you can see it kind of just it's freeform. But when you hold down shift, it constrains the shape to a certain size. So if I think if you do it like this, and if I were to expand it like this, then yeah, it'll stay at that size. You'll deal with that later. But yeah, we're gonna create a new shape. We're gonna hold shift and then left click and then just drag it down here. And you can see a lot of things are a bit off. You can see the anchor point here is off centered, which isn't what we want. So let's firstly align this properly. So you go into the align window and you just center it again with this and this. And now we want to deal with the anchor point. So we go into the anchor point here, you hold onto it, you take this, you hold control, and you can see it's showing you other anchor points, and it's immediately snapping into the middle here. You want to drag it down to the middle, and it should immediately snap to it. And then you just let go, and then it should be all good. It should be all free nilly-willy. It's all in the center and all that stuff. So now that we have that, am I still recording? Yeah, I am. Okay. Now that we have this all sorted, we're gonna now move this. We're gonna rotate this so that it shows our donuts. So you click on the shape layer again. You press R and you do 45 degrees. And now we have this here. Now we're gonna use scale, because scale to me looks more aesthetically pleasing. You can use size. So an easy way to find things is just using the search thing here. You just go to size and you can use this, but it gets thinner as a result, which I don't really like. So I'm gonna use scale. And a lot of people will be mad, but I don't care. So now that we have this here, what we're gonna do is we're going to make this by default 0, and now we're gonna go over here. We can change this to be whatever value we want, although you have to write it like this, as like in seconds, I think, or in milliseconds, I think. No, I think you just do this. Yeah, it just kind of just fills it in for you, so you can do like this, 1 minute 15, and then you can see it just takes it, or 1 second 15, and it'll take you to where we want to go. We're gonna go 1 minute and 50 seconds. So we go over here. Actually, we have to go to the start first, and then we have to press on the stopwatch here to add a keyframe. Now we can go over to 1 minute, 1 second, and 15 milliseconds, and we want to add a keyframe here, and this time we want to expand the scale here. So then we want to expand it until it goes, like the square just goes away. You can't even see it anymore. And now you should have a nice scaling thing. I'm gonna bring this closer. If you do 100, then it'll do 1 second. So yeah, point of reference, I guess. So yeah, now we have this. We want to add a drop shadow because it looks a bit bland. Drop shadow over here. And then we want to just double click it. And then if you just double click a effect, it'll just add it to whatever layer you have selected. So you have to select the shape layer and whatnot. So we have this drop shadow. We could turn down the distance and reduce the opacity. I can't even see it. Hang on. This is gonna be a bit complicated. Oh, what the heck is this? Okay, there we go. Okay, that should be good. We just add a bit of drop shadow because it looks weird without it. Because without it, just what is that? You know, what is this? Okay, you want to reduce the distance a bit more. You can increase it by use the distance, and then you can just change the opacity as you need. So now we have this. Congrats, you did it. Woohoo! Okay, next one. So we want to add two. You can go with this one, and then what you can do is you could pre-comp and then just call it whatever. And then you can just like wait until I'm done with that the second shape. But we're gonna create another one. What you do is you do Control D, and then you move the actual layer back a bit until your heart desires. So you can go as far as you want or as close as you want. I'm gonna break it a bit more close. No, a bit more back. There we go. That should do it. So now you can see this is just two colors, right? It doesn't look right. So we're gonna go to the second shape layer here, and we're gonna change the color by pressing this for the stroke to, you can change it to whatever you want. I'm gonna make it purple in my case. Maybe a bit more brighter there because it looks a bit off. That should do it. Oh no. Maybe no. Oh god, okay, hang on. Purple is such a horrible color to mess with. I hate it. Oh boy. Why is my entire branding based on like one color? Alright. We're gonna add a Venetian blind now. So, second layer here, we're gonna go into the effects and presets and just search on Venetian blinds. And then we're gonna make the transition completion here 50%. And you can see it kind of just creates these lines on here. The direction here we want to make 90 degrees. Oh, autosave, thank you. I should actually save. And you can see you could use this hypothetically, but it's a bit too it's a little too much for me. So with the width here, we're just gonna bring it closer until I like it. So yeah, that looks good in my case. And one thing you're gonna notice, if you're using a light background, for example, if I just change this one to be like white for now, temporarily, okay, temporary. You can see, yeah, this drop shadow here looks a bit weird. And the reason why is because the drop shadow is being done first, and then the Venetian blinds is being done next. So what that means is basically the drop shadow is being added first, and then the Venetian blinds is cutting everything out, basically. So what we want to do is we want to make the Venetian blinds cut out everything first, and then the drop shadow as a shadow. So to do that, you just take this here and you bring it to the top. Easy. And just like that, you have it all sorted out now. It looks way better if you think about it. Like it makes more sense. Like this makes no sense. How does this work? You know, unless the sun is this way or some crap. That's how it works. So yeah, this looks way better. So yeah, I'm gonna change this back again. Control Shift Y is just the way to change it out and then whatnot. So yeah, inspect the black. It looks actually half decent now. So yeah. Now that we have this, we can take these two and then pre-comp it, call it whatever, I don't care. What we're going to do is we're going to make this process way more easier. What we're going to do is we're going to use Echo. So again, effects and presets, Echo, and then you can add that into here. And you can see it did this weird thing. Now you can do that as a stylistic choice, but it'll make your computer have a hard time because it's a bit much, and also this just makes it a bit more thicker, which is not what we want. So we're gonna move this down a bit more. So where it says echo time seconds, we're gonna drag this down until it basically matches the same time as this opens up. So this comes out at about 30 milliseconds in, actually. 30 milliseconds in. And yeah, you just want to match it up, really. It doesn't really matter. Like, you can use like visual cues, like say like this is how big it is. So then this one here, if it's that big, then then it should do it, you know? So maybe, yeah, we need to make it a bit more. It's a bit of a confusing one, but it does work. So maybe that much. Let's see. No, that's way too much. It's way too big of a difference. I could never allow that. Oh dear. Oh god, it's gone. Okay, it's not gone now. No, that's still way too big. Okay. Let's do like that, I guess. Yeah, that does it. Okay. Let's make the number of echoes now, since it just does like one extra one. We want to make it 25. That's way too much. Okay, 25. And you can see we now have shapes. It makes it at least somewhat better. Yeah. We have the shape stuff now. So now we can go back to comp 1 here and then go to background and add it in. You just add in the background composition. And now we have this, and it actually works. Now you may realize in stuff like the white ones, it just doesn't have a shadow and it looks a bit off. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the text composition here. And we're going to add a drop shadow. This time though, we're not going to do it the same way we did it for the Venetian, not the Venetian lines, the shapes, the donuts. We're going to do it the same as the donuts. We're going to make the direction 180 degrees because this is the way it goes down. The distance goes down a bit more, but this time we want to use the softness, so then we can soften the shadow a little bit. So you can see it's a bit more softer in these areas and it looks a bit more nicer. So now we have this as a result. Okay, so now that we have this, we're gonna crop this out because we obviously don't want all of this background before the text shows up and whatnot. So we take the background composition, you do Control-Shift-D, you hold Shift, let me show you. So you hold Shift on your keyboard and drag this. You can actually get it to sync up as well as to like the start of like a layer type thing, like over here, for example. So we go into the first cropped area of the layer and you do Control-Shift-D. Then you delete that one again at the end over here. Control-Shift-D. There we go. Easy speedrun. Nice speedrun. There you go. So now we have this like empty space here. It's way more easier to preview things and whatnot, and also rendering. So we're gonna save because we don't want to lose this. And now we have this. However, this just, it just looks odd now. It's just like these donuts coming in. So we're gonna use time remaps. So this is where it gets a bit confusing, in my opinion, and sometimes you can mess it up upon first time. It's normal for that to happen there. So don't be too worried if you mess it up a little bit. What you can do is you can just delete the time remap and then re-add the time remap and then try again. I'd actually recommend you do that instead. So yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to go into background here. We're going to right click, then time, where is it, time, and then enable time remapping. It's auto transform and then time remapping, enable time remapping. And what we're going to do is you can see you have this here. It just basically just tells you this is where it starts and whatnot. What we're going to do is we're going to go into each of these markers here. This is where the K and J thing is really helpful, because we need it for this case. We literally need this. We desperately need it for this case. So we press K, then you press the diamond, K again, and then you go on, so on and so forth. You just add diamonds. And you can see, yeah, there you go. It's all there. Now obviously it's not gonna do anything in this because we haven't eased these. So you press F9, you select only these ones here, you don't select the start and the end ones here, just these ones in the middle. You press F9 and you can see, yeah, it kind of does it, but it's a bit messed. Doesn't really look nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the graph editor, and this time we're not going to use the speed graph, but rather the value graph. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna look for the at least a half decent looking one. If you have one that has repetitive beats like boom, 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 like it doesn't change up like mine where it goes like that, you know. So if you have that, then it's easier to find one that's even like this one over here, number 9. You can see it looks really even and nice. You want to find that, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna expand this timeline here by pressing the tilde thing again, the tilde key or the squiggly line key, and we can just zoom in. Actually found a good one here. 10, no, 10, let's use 10. Okay, so we're gonna take this here down here, and we're gonna drag the left one over here down here, and then we're gonna drag this one over here up at the top, and we're gonna just mess around with it a little bit because we want to have a decent, like, you can see it's already like breaking up over here. it's very complicated. It isn't an easy way to do this, if I'll be honest. Like, the easy way is to do it the Panzoid way, but that's just stupid. But yeah, you can see it's a bit messed up, so we're gonna manually go in and we're gonna have to fix these. So this one here, you can see it didn't even do anything. So yeah, no point of you doing anything. Why are you here? You're right. We're gonna move these, and then same with this one. You can see this one just got messed up over here. We're gonna do that. You can manually do it, but if you have one with repetitive beats, then no need to worry really. It doesn't matter. You just keep on going. You don't need to worry about it. You just fix up a little bit. Actually, you still have to fix up a few things because it's a bit complicated. it's very complicated actually. This entire thing, I don't even remember me starting off with this. I think I'm making this too less. This one has to be down. This one has to be more. There we go. I think I am making this way less than it has to be. Hang on, let's see how we made it. Yeah, that's way too less. So you have to make it a bit more bigger, I guess. So you can see over here, this one is basically the start. Let's make this a bit less, and then we have to make this one more because we want to exaggerate the kind of moving thing. Let's see how we did with this one. Yeah, looks nice. We're gonna do that with this one here as well. Oh buddy, okay, hang on. You need to do the thing that I want you to do. Why aren't you letting me do the thing that I want you to do? Yeah, okay. You typically want to make this a bit more bigger. The one that you put at the top, you want to make that a bit more bigger. So I'm going to do that with this one here as well. Same with this one. Okay, and then you get into a problem where it kind of just, because you move this, you're also moving this bit here, which kind of tells you like, oh, it's going to go like that and do a weird thing. See that? I'm going to put it back to how it was actually, maybe. Oh, I cannot go back on it now. Oh dear. I got it perfect. First try. Oh dear. Oh, what have I done? Oh, that's way too weird. Oh dear. Okay, let's make this less. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So now this here has to be more. Same with this one here. Less. Okay, fine. I'll make this less. Jeez. There we go. Jeez, it's very tedious. This one is actually half decent, just a bit of touching up, I guess. Nah. Has to be way more. Same with this one. I don't know what I did or what I made. There we go. Bit more down here. And then we just, that's alright, I guess. Yeah, that does it. Okay. We have finally finished the time remap. I hope you understood that part, because if you didn't, then I messed up big time. It's whoopsie daisy, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of how you do it, I guess. That's how you do the time remapping and whatnot. I've been recording for an hour. Jesus. Okay, well, we aren't even done yet then. We aren't even done yet. Now that you've done it, save, please, because you don't want to go through that again. I know you don't, because it's... I mean, to be fair, this song isn't really good for time remapping, but... yeah, okay, that's good. So now we're gonna start on working on the shapes. Congratulations, you are halfway there, basically. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the new composition here, and we're gonna call it, you call this whatever, I call it A, because I don't know, honestly. I'm gonna create my iconic shapes. Okay, so what you want to do is you select this, you change the stroke here to 50, make sure fill is off entirely, so you go into here, and go to none, and then you keep this to fill and make it white, or you can keep it to any color, it doesn't really matter. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go off here, and you click onto this area, and then you go onto here, then you click and drag, left click and drag, then you go a bit up here, and then you go like this way, so then it goes that way, and then you kind of just bring it in like that at the end. It takes a bit of messing around to get what I want, per se. Like, okay, hang on, I messed this up big time. Okay, I'm gonna move this back a bit, over here, over here, over here, there we go. Easy. Easy. This looks at least half better, somewhat better. Typically I just use like 4 points, but sometimes you need like more than 4 points. It just is a bit of a complicated shape. Why I use this, I don't know. It just adds something, I guess. So now that we have this, we want to add a kind of trim pot to this. So you go to add over here, then you go into trim pots. And this basically just allows us to trim out the path, start and end and stuff. It's very nice. So you put this all the way to 0. Both these start and ends you press to get the stopwatch. And then you go all the way to maybe like a minute 15. Yeah, minute 15. And then you, not a minute 15, why am I saying a minute 15 now? A second, 15 milliseconds, yes. 1 second and 15 milliseconds, that's what you want to do. And you want to go and select these 2 diamonds here. And select all of this, and then press F9 to kind of ease these up. And then you want to move these 2 top ones over here, down a bit more here. So you can see now, I didn't do this right. Oh, what the heck? Oh, okay. Well, it's meant to be 100. Hopefully it actually did it for you and it became 100. If it didn't, then just go to like the ends and then you can do it. And you can see you get this, but it doesn't look that nice. So you just select all of these here, go into the graph editor. It might be in value graph, so you change it back to speed graph. Select these bottom ones here and then just drag it all the way here until like it actually can't, because at some point it can't. And then you get this. That's a bit too fast actually. Move these a bit more further. It's a bit more further out this way. There we go. That should be good. Oh crap. Yeah, that should be alright. So we can just close down this now, and then select this, and then duplicate it, and then press R, and then 180. And this basically just lets us not deal with the hassle of creating another one, because that's just stupid, right? You want to just do that. It's easier to mirror it. So now we can go back to our comp one and then drag this in between the text and the background. And what I do is I like to just go at the start and then just add this. And again, we need the drop shadow. So you do drop shadow. It's already here. You just type it up again in the search bar. And then you do distance, and then you can see it adds like a nice drop shadow onto here. And you can mess with it, add a bit more softness. It looks nice here if I add a softness actually. Yeah, that should do it. Alright, now what I do is I add a bit of offset to it, so like when it starts showing up, that's when I have it there. And then yeah, and then I usually add another one and stuff. I'm gonna see when I want to add. Hang on. Let's add one over here. So you do Control D, and then you just drag the composition to where you want it to go. Just like that. And then right here, we're gonna add one over here. There's usually another one. There's obviously the one that goes, but then there's also one that people call the sperm splines, but they're not the sperm splines. They're taper splines, but you can do it without plugins. I don't know how to do it there. I use plugins for that one. But yeah, now we have this. Let's save. And let's create another one. So again, new composition over here, B, call it B, I don't know, call it whatever. And then again, we go to the pen tool. This time we're gonna create a circle, a bit of a circle, I guess, like around here. Then we go out here, and then out here, and then just like finish it up here. I don't know how I came up with these, if I'll be honest. I don't remember as much of how these have come to fruition. They just, I guess one day I was like, yeah, just mess around, and I made this for some reason. I don't know how it came to fruition. It just did, I guess. Now it's just part of whatever I make. It's on me. My bad guys. Okay, yeah, now we have this, but we're gonna add a trim pot to this. So again, add here, trim pots, and then you open up trim pots, and you just go to 0. It's basically the same premise. So you can actually just copy this if you think about it. Like you just take this, Control C, and then we're gonna remove this one, Control V, and then you have the same thing essentially. And then you can duplicate this and then do 180. Same way we did it with that one. You can see we have some nice, it's a bit wonky, but it'll do. We have the B splines now. It's nice and that. And then you go back to comp 1, add it in, and then yeah. I'm gonna add the thing over here. Oh yeah, and you also need the drop shadow. So you go to A over here, and you can just copy this drop shadow and paste it in. Easy. How easy is that? Okay, this is a bit too late. So again, with this one, I like to do it when it's like this part is coming out and stuff. And then I want to put one in 11. Again, Control D, then drag it. And then at the last one, I'm just gonna add one. Easy. There you go. This is more or less a simple one. Simple way of adding them. Okay, that's good. We're gonna add a third one, so this one's gonna be called C, I guess, for me. So you gotta do a new composition and stuff. And this time, this is more of like a path one, where you need to create a bunch of them, then you do the trim thing, and then you use time remapping. Okay, and now you're scared, but there's an easy way to do this, trust me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just create a nice path like this. Like, it doesn't really matter what you do, just like, you can make it go around, whatever. I'm gonna do this over here. I guess it looks a bit odd, but what can I do about it? And then you just bring this down here, down there, like that, like that, like that, like that. Again, this is a long song, so really, this has to be a bit there. I guess this is where it ends, so why not? So now that we have this, we can go into, we make sure this shape layer is selected. Again, trim path, and this time we want to do the start and end, make the 0, and then we go a bit far, like I'd say about here. So 600 is just 6 seconds, and then we just go and add both of the diamonds. You could just drag like this to add or remove diamonds or keyframes. I'm calling them diamonds. I don't know why. I mean, they do look like diamonds, but they aren't called diamonds. They're called keyframes. But yeah, there you go. You can just put this all to 100. Easy ease these so that it looks a bit more smoother, and then you move the top bits, and this time you have this. It's a bit too long. You want to make it a bit short if you want, and then you have this. So now you have this nice little thing. It moves around, hopefully for the entire thing. I mean, I don't think it really matters if it moves around the entire thing, but whatever. We have this now, but we want to add another one, right? Actually, before we do that, we're going to add a thin one. So what we're going to do is Control D. We're copying Tom around with this so bad. Okay, so we're going to do half of 50. So half of 50 is 25. I need that. We're going to make it purple. And we're going to maybe a bit more shorter, actually. This is a bit too... There we go. Okay, there we go. Now you have that. And then what you do is you basically move this back a little bit. And you can see it adds this nice thing. It's like a little tail, I guess. Yeah, our spine has a tail for some reason. Now we're gonna move these. We're gonna make more of these. So what you do is Control D, move these to the top, and R to both of these. Make sure these both are selected while you're doing it as well. So select both of these. Move it back here. There we go. Select both of these. Control D. Make sure these both are selected, okay? 4 and 3, both are selected. Don't click out, okay? Don't click on this, okay? Just don't click like that, okay? Don't do that. That's no. And then you want to move them at the top of layer 2, and then you have the thingy over here. A bit complicated the way I explained it, but it'll do. And then you do R and then 180, and then both of them should be up if you have both of them selected. So yeah, now we have this. Now we want to make a bit more, you know, it's a bit too bland here. So we're going to select all of these, Control D, and then all of the ones that are selected, you can just drag back. I know, you've already done half the work. It's that easy. How easy is that? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So there you go. Those are the C splines. So we're going to add them over here underneath the text. Onto comp 1, and then we can just, we're gonna start it over here essentially. Although, okay, here's a bit of a problem now. The time remap relies on the start of your composition. So we add that, if we say add the time remap to here, oops, over there, it'll rely on here, right? But then the spline's already end. Well, what's that about, huh? Well, if we move this here, you'll see it's actually delayed, like real bad, like really, really bad. You can see it's just doing it, and now it's off. You know, it's weird, you know, that type of thing. So instead, we are just gonna. I mean, honestly, for me, this is okay. We can just leave it as is, because I don't really want their splines onto there. So we basically did it right. But I do recommend you either add a bit more, or you just deal with it as is. It's basically just that kind of thing. So yeah, now that we have this, we can take the drop shadow from here and then paste it. Let's just see if it looks nice. I'm also gonna crop this over here. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna crop this here as well. Alright, so we have that. We're gonna create a fractal burst now. So you create a new composition, call it whatever, I don't care. And with the fractal burst, again, you'll need a new solid. So new solid, make sure it's black solid, and then add a fractal noise over here. Go in, okay. There you go. So now you have this again, and same thing that we did for the background. You go to transform and then turn off uniform scaling and make this as many ones and zeros as you want. It'll cap out at some point again. So yeah, and you kind of want to do the same thing, contrast wise, brightness wise. Yeah, there you go. And again, the evolution. So you go over here, 4, and yeah, there you go. That's the basis of what we're gonna make. So now, what we're gonna do is we're going to add make this a circle, because this isn't a circle right now. So what we want to do is we want to add polar coordinates. So well, actually, before we do that, don't worry about that. That's another thing you get as plugins, but we're not going to use that today. We're doing no plugins. So before we do that, we want to add a mask. Then we want to animate that mask to show up the fractal and then move it. So we're going to double click on this again, and we're going to double click on here. We go to the mask path here, or if you open a mask path, you press on the stopwatch, and then you move it all the way up here, like down there, and then down here. So you get this now. So you have this all together and all that. Maybe around here. So no, it's like 30 seconds. Oh, 30 milliseconds. Okay, 30 milliseconds. There we go. So 30 milliseconds in, we press the keyframe, you double click this again, and you move the path here. A bit more closer like that. So now we have this. Congrats, you did it. Woohoo! We got it this far. And then you go into here, 100, and then you move the paths again, double click onto here, add the keyframe, whatnot, and then we just move it all the way down here. So now it should look like this. And you may be thinking, well, this looks nothing like it. And you're right, it looks nothing like a fractal burst. And that's because we haven't added the polar coordinates yet. But we want to add a feather first, because that'll look a bit more nicer and a bit more like a fractal burst. So yeah, there you go. And I want to make sure, like you can see down here, there's a bit of bleeding from it. And if that's happening, then just go all the way to the last keyframe over here. And you want to just move it a bit more down, because we don't want that bleeding. It looks weird. It kind of just ruins your intro. So we have that now. Congrats, you did it. Woohoo! Add a bit more feather. No, it's fine. Yeah, that should do it. We don't want the bleeding again. So yeah. Now that we have this, we can now get into the polar coordinate stuff. So over here we do polar coordinates, and you can see nothing's happening. What we're gonna do is we'll make this 100, and you can see now you're probably like, oh, this doesn't even look like one. Yeah, you're right. But like, watch this, okay? We changed the type of conversion to rect to polar. Yeah, now who's complaining, huh? Yeah, now it's a circle. I don't know what polar coordinates does. It makes it a circle, so I guess it works. What we want to do now, though, is we want to expand this, because this is way too small, right? It's a little too small. It's average. It's not average. It's really small. So what we want to do is we want to add a transform. So that's not how you do it. Again, effects and presets, transform. That's where you want to do it. You can get that whenever you want. I don't care. And then you increase the scale. Now you can see it's a bit pixely and it looks terrible. So you put this at the top here, and it looks a bit more better, you know. But you can see, look at this. Why is it doing that, huh? Well, that's because we have to change the mask's blending type. It's weird. It works. I don't know why it does. It just does. So what you do, since we have this and all that, you put the transform on top of the polar coordinates, by the way. I don't think I said that, but what you do is you go into the mask here, you go into here where it says add, you do subtract, and you can see now it's a bit weird, like it does that and then that. it's a bit weird. So what you do is you do inverted. And now, hooray, it does it, woohoo. Now obviously there's a bit of a downside, there's this weird gap here. You can just leave it like this, but it doesn't look too well, even in full, well, actually, it looks alright in full quality, but if you want like the best quality, like look at how much I can actually zoom in compared like that you want to risk that? Exactly. So yeah, it looks a bit more better essentially. I'm gonna put this back to quarter. So yeah, there you go. Congrats, you did it. You made the fractal burst. I hope I made sense, but you get the picture essentially. So now that we have this, we again need to change the color. So hue, saturation over here, colorize 100, and we're gonna make it purple essentially, just like that. Another thing you can add this if you want. I'm gonna add it for my case. You can add a twist so that it's basically twisted around. So again, effects and presets, twist. Where is it? Wait a minute. Was it whirl? Or is it this one? No, it's not this one. Okay, that's just not the right one. Whirl. I forgot what it was called actually. What was it? Hang on. Twirl. That's what it was called. Twirl. I remember these things. I don't remember these things. So yeah, while this is selected, you search up twirl on effects and presets, and then where it says angle, you just add a bit of that thing, and then it just adds a nice kind of like bend to it. It's basically a bit more unique. Now, this is where you could end and add it into the comp, but there is a problem. If I go to the alpha, you can see there's these weird black areas, and you're thinking, oh, what's wrong with that? Oh, there's nothing wrong with that being black. Well, watch this, okay? You go over here to start, you can see it blocks out these areas here, which is not what we want. We want this to be transparent. So what we're gonna do is over here, you can see here it says toggle switches / merge. Press that, and you can see you get these things. If this was already there, then don't worry, but like we're gonna keep this like that. You change the mode to lighten, or alternatively it can be screen. What screen does is it just like makes it a bit more brighter and a bit more see-through. There is better ways to do this, but we're doing this without plugins really. With plugins, it actually, add actually looks nice. What the heck? Why did I not know that? Oh, okay, darken. Don't use darken. Word of advice: don't use darken or color dodge. Yeah, just use like lighten or add. I'm gonna use lighten because I think that looks way better. So yeah, now we have that. That starts way too early. Over here. I'm gonna put this right at the start. That's way too delayed. What the heck? Okay. Delayed gratification, guys. Woohoo. Okay. I'm gonna add a bit more here. Alright, now we're gonna add bursts. So another new comp, E this time. We're gonna create a burst. So over here, we're gonna make this again 50, and we have to make this white this time. You can make it any color, but typically you'd want to have like a white and a different color, or alternatively a different color and a different color. I don't know, it's the thing. So you just zoom right down in the middle over here. You click right dead center. If you're wondering how I got the grid out, I should have explained that. Okay. To get the grid out, you go into here, then proportional grid, and then you zoom all the way into the middle, and then click right there. And then what you do is you go down to here, like halfway through here, and then you just click, and you can see it creates this line. That's basically all you need to do. So go to here, this is the selection tool, you just press V, and then just go back. What we want, while this is selected, add, and then trim pots, and then where it says end, make it 0, and then I like 1 second and 15 milliseconds. You can make it, oh, okay, I just realized. I think this is where my main concern is. So put the keyframes here, obviously. I forgot to tell you that, or do that as a matter of fact. Go into over here and then do 100, and this time we don't want to make it fully 100, we want to make it 50, because now it's just like halfway through being done, you can say it like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all these and then F9, and then we just add the easing that we did for the other splines and stuff, and then you can see it just does that now. I might actually make this 100, it's a bit more easier to just do 100. There we go. There we go. That looks much better. So yeah, there we go. So we select all of these. Where it peaks over here is where you want to make the stroke go down. So you go down to here, shape, then stroke, and then stroke width, which will basically just reduce the width. So you start right where the peak of these are, and then you add a keyframe to there. You go to the end over here, and then you press on the keyframe, and then you make it 0. So now you get that. But now you may be thinking, oh, but I have to go like this, and then go this, and then you're not gonna do that. Okay, I would never make you do that. Although I'd made you do that for the tech, that doesn't matter. Okay, that's not our point here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the shape layer here, click on add repeater, and then you make the copies 4. And you can see it's a bit more longer now. So what I'm gonna do is under the repeater, this is the repeater's transform. You wanna go to this one only, not like the other transforms, just the one for the repeater or under the repeater. And then you make the position here 0. And then you make the rotation 90 degrees, and you can see it looks, it's at least somewhat similar now, like there. I'm going to turn off the proportional grid now because I don't need it. So now that we have that, we can duplicate this and then make it 45 degrees. The second one here, 45 degrees. And you can see, yeah, it does that now. Now we're going to add a bit more. So you select both of these, Control D. Again, make sure the 4th and 3rd layer are both selected and just rotated like this. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Not really. You're probably confused right now. You're probably crying. In that case, I apologize. But regardless, we can have this here. Make this 67. Okay, yeah, no, I shouldn't have done that. If you do that, then it'll actually make both of them, so just undo it. To get to actually 67, there you go. There we go. Alright, so now while these two are selected as well, important you don't click off yet, okay? You change the color to whichever you want. There you go. There, now you're done. See? Congrats, we made a purple white thing. Now we can use it, so we could go to the main comp, E, take the one with the burst, and then we can add them and stuff. So right here is one, I'd say, and again we want to take the drop shadow that we made for our other shapes, and we want to use it for the burst. Okay, and then on here I want to take this, and this time I want to put them in the corners. So you could just drag it like this, which is easy, but I wanna make it pinpoint accurate. So 0 is where 0 will take you to here. 1080, I think. Yeah, no, wait, what? Where's 10? What the? Oh, 1920. Sorry, 1920. If you're going by the x-axis, which is this, if you go to 1920, that'll take you to the right. 0 will take you to the left. 1080 will take you to downwards on the y-axis, and 0 will take you up on the y-axis. So now we have it like this. I prefer to just drag it, like it's way easier. It's just eyeballing it, it doesn't really matter. And then we add another one over here, and yeah, again, I like to just eyeball it. But if you really are a perfectionist, then just do 1920 by 1080. It's just perfect right at the dead center. So now we have this. I'm gonna add one here. And again, because this is going to be the center, 960 by 540 is what you want to do. I don't know why the center is 960 by 540, but it is, so it is what it is. Okay, we have that. Congrats, hurrah. We have one of the bursts. This is going to be the last shape that we're going to add to this, and then we can actually go into sync, colors, effects, stuff like that, you know, CC, color correction, all that good stuff, you know. It takes a while, it takes a long as time, but it's typically worth it. So yeah, the last one is just going to be a different variation of this, so just copy one of these and then paste it in, and then you take this here, and then you go to add and then twist. Now you can see it looks odd, and that's because this is after, it's basically, these are like effects essentially. So what it's doing first is it's doing the trim path, and then it's adding a twist to the already trimmed stuff, and then it's repeating it. What we want to do is we want to put the twist on top, so then it's basically following the twist stuff. And we want to go into the twist thing, and we want to make it, just mess around with the values essentially. So we can make the, if you put the center here, it'll be more this way, and then the angle, just make it a bit more stronger. So now we have that, we can duplicate this, press R, 45 degrees. I feel like you're getting the gist. I hope you are. If not, oops, sorry, I messed you up big time. I failed you as a teacher. But we can now take these, duplicate, and then just move them like that, same way we did it. Oh, I had it perfect. What the okay, and then we just add the color again, making sure these two are both shape layer 4 and shape layer 3. Make sure they're both selected while you're doing that, otherwise it's just gonna mess up big time. So now that we have this nice one, we can just go to F and then add it in, and then we're gonna add it onto the fourth one here. And again, we have to add the drop shadow from here to here. Alright, and we're gonna add another one here, around here. There we go, around here. That works. Let's see, again, this time we're doing it like that. I'm not gonna perfection it. Actually, maybe I will, because this one's a bit of a tricky one to actually center. So again, position, what did I do? Okay, position 1920 by 540, so then it's like in this area, and then 0 to 540. That's okay. I don't know how that was perfect at 540, but okay, here we are. I'm going to add 2 bursts here. So we take this, we're going to make this higher up, so that'd be 0 here, and then go to the next marker and then move this down. I think 0, yeah, and then like 1080. Yeah, there we go. I'm perfect at this. Alright, there we go. And then the last one, I'm just going to do 960 by 540, which again is the center point of your composition, and then just bring it close to this. Why did not? Okay, hang on. I did not add one over there. I think that makes sense to add one over here. It was E. You just do that and just duplicate it. It gets very complicated if you add like a bunch of shapes and stuff, like me. Alright, let's save. before everything goes away. One thing that you have to worry about now is because we're gonna have to pre-comp all of these, obviously, because there's way too much and it's gonna be really confusing. This here has a lighten thing. The issue here is that we can't actually, let me see. Yeah, I can't do that. So we can't take this with like everything else, because if we do that, I believe it will just black out. Did it black out? Yeah, it does. See? So what we have to do is we have to leave this one aside, the fractal burst. So we just have to take this out here at the top, and then everything else gets pre-compositioned except for the fractal burst. I'm gonna call this one, finally I'm calling something shapes all. So there you go. So now we have the fractal burst there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start the actual shapes over here and then end it again. It's like the same way. And we're also gonna have to cut out the fractal burst where it ends. So right about here, maybe. There we go. There we go. Easy. So now that we have that, we can now work on the sync. So this one requires a bit more complications. It's a bit more complicated, but the process is fairly easy. It's easier than time remapping, really. It's just all I can say, really. It's easier than a time remapping. So just do what you want with that info, I guess. So what we're gonna do is we're going to add a new null object. I'm gonna clip it to like up to here. Crop it, the layer up to here. And then in here we're gonna add a slider control. So now we have this. Don't worry about this right now. This is basically like a way to control like stuff. You'll see later. So what you now do is you're gonna add a adjustment layer. So again, right click, new adjustment layer, and then you crop it out so that it's a bit more manageable in terms of render speeds. And then on here we have to add a effect called transform right here. This is basically more or less similar to the transform you get onto here, except this time it's like an effect and you get the skew over here, which is like it goes, you know, that kind of thing. It does that essentially. We're not gonna keep the skew there. It's no point. Okay, there we go. But yeah, you get the skew. That's basically the only difference, because you still get anchor points and whatnot, and it's a bit more easier to deal with entire composition movements, which you'll see me do in a bit, I guess. So now we actually need to add stuff to this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the thing here, and then effects, and then transform. Slightly under the transform under the effects one, not this one here. Don't touch this one. Touch this one instead. It's weird. Okay, we're gonna go into. I'm gonna leave another link in the description. It should be called VBE. Hang on. Let me re-pull up this. Yeah, it's right here. VBE. Okay, it's all good. Whew. Thank God. I don't want it to crash down. Let me save actually. We have the position, scale, and rotation here. This is more or less similar to this, except this time it isn't bouncing. I'm gonna try and explain. Basically what this does is like it wiggles this. I don't know what the 3 does there. And it basically looks for the null object that we added, which has the effect slider control, and the slider is basically like the controlling bit, and then it whatever the value the slider is, it's times by 60 here. And then the scale here, same shebang. This time it has to be linear there. And it's basically going by these values. I don't know what the values do. it does something. And the wiggle here, it just takes, again, same thing, and then times it by 5. So now we can take the position one here, and then you could copy it, Control C, and then you hold Alt, and then left click on here, and then you paste it into here. So now we have it under the transform effect. Same thing with the scale. So you take the scale one, and then you paste it in, doing the same thing. And then rotation, same thing. Again, holding Alt, left click, and then Control V. Alright, we have all that now. How great is that? Now, obviously, it's not doing anything, so you're thinking, oh, you scammed me. I didn't scam you. Okay, look at this, okay? When we make this value here 1, you can see it's moving around. How cool is that? I'm not gonna make it 1 though, because that's a bit too much. Why don't I make the saturation normal? Jeez. Okay, but yeah. This is basically what you'd use to control the thing. And you can see, like, when you're making the value go way too much, it gets a bit weird. Like, what is going on, right? Basically you just have to go by in between 0 and 1. You can't go off to like 100 and whatnot. It's not gonna work. So we make this 0.7 as our kind of shake thing. We're gonna make this 0 first. Click on the stopwatch here, and then go into here by pressing U, and then go 1, 2, 3 frames away from the initial keyframe here. Click on the diamond here to add a new thing and make it 0.7. And now you could do that for all of them, but that's too complicated. So we're gonna copy all of this, Control C, and this is where a weird thing happens. Oh, now it doesn't happen, huh? This is a weird part. Okay, so basically usually whenever I'm doing this, it doesn't like to do it like half the time. In this case it does. So you just do again J and K, Control V, and then Control V all of them. If it doesn't do it for you, then just hold Shift and just drag along. So yeah, I'm gonna do that for my case. Use J and K. Oh dear. Control V, Control V, Control V. And you kind of have to go twice because it's going to the next keyframe and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, there you go. Alright, cool. Now that we have that, we can close this off. I think the sing looks nice. If you want to change it up, then you can just change up one of them, delete like the rest, and just re-copy paste. Cause I don't want you to like go into each of them. It's stupid, you know. So yeah, now that we have that, you can see it's a bit bland. Again, it needs kind of like glow and stuff. So what we do is we go into here, into effects and presets, and then look for glow. And it's under stylize. I have a lot of these here. Like these, you won't know what these are unless you got plugins. These are all like plugin stuff. It's for immersive video, trap curve, sapphire light, and all that stuff. They're all basically just like stuff for like plugins and stuff. Which at some point I'll maybe make a tutorial. So now you have the glow. You just add it to the same one with the transform. You make the radius a bit bigger. And you can see it's really bright, which isn't good. We want to reduce the intensity and you just kind of mess around with the stuff here. You can see it's a bit much. I don't think, realistically speaking, my computer could even render this much glow. There's a reason why I use S-Glow. Actually, it's another plugin. You can tell I use plugins, yeah. It's actually very convenient. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that should do it. Hopefully it doesn't crash or doesn't render, because if it doesn't, then fuck. Oh boy. Okay, so we're gonna add a glow intensity here. Press on the stopwatch, and then again, same thing that we did with the sync. You go into here 3 seconds in, or 3 frames in, and we make it a number. Preferably not something too bright. We want to make it like 0.7 maybe. I guess 0.7 will work, hopefully. And then we just copy it, and then same thing that we did, and just paste it in. There we go. And over here, I'm just gonna like make the glow 0, so then at least has some. Oh no, I made all of them 0. Ah, it happens, you know. Yeah, I accidentally click it. Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah, there you go. You could also do the same with the sync. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna make it 0, so then at least somewhere to stop. Oh god, what did I do? Okay, it's all good. Alright, now we're gonna create the CC because I can't just go with glow, right? It needs to be more. So we're gonna add a new adjustment layer, and I'm gonna try and recreate the oh my god, okay, I removed that one. Why did I do that? Okay, there we go. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try and like recreate that thing. We're gonna add a new adjustment layer here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try and make the same CC I'd make with that plugin. So what we're gonna do is I like to go to like a really shiny area, like here, like as a fractal burst and whatever. So what we do is we go into here, we're gonna search up glow, and we're gonna it's already searched up, but okay, it's fine. We're gonna add the radius. You can see it's really bright. You just reduce the intensity. I hope this renders. I hope this renders, and I hope I make sense, you know. Maybe it's a bit too bright. Again, we added a glow here, so realistically, you would want to not have that much of a glow, right? Like it makes sense not to. You just want to add a little bit because we don't want it to overexpose. Alright, that should be good, hopefully. It's not really similar, but if I just reduce the threshold, it'll actually bring it a bit more closer to what I would want. And you can also change the colors down here of the glow, so we can make it like a purple and whatnot, so it's a bit more convenient for us. Or just any whatever. Don't do red, please. Don't do red. I'm more or less just messing around with the values here, seeing what looks nice and what doesn't. But again, I don't want this over saturated bullcrap. It doesn't look nice. Alright, that should be good. Can hear my fans going off. That's probably a bad sign that it's not going to render. If it doesn't render, oh, I swear I'm going to do some bad things. Okay, 0.4 maybe. No, maybe 0.3. Honestly, I can't really escape the fact that it's bright as, but we need some background glowing. And this is like an example of background glowing. Okay. Maybe I make it like that and then a bit of glow maybe. That's way too bright now. Increase the threshold. Ooh. Alright. Looks nice. Alright. I'm gonna save before everything goes away. Let me see, is there like an edge softness? If there isn't like an edge blur, then edge blur, yeah, there's nothing. So we're gonna use a vignette, CC vignette. We're gonna see if this will work. If it doesn't, then I'm just gonna have to say no, don't use a vignette. What I'm doing is just like adding a bit of darkness, so then there's a bit more highlighting on the actual text. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, we'll go with the vignette. I'm just gonna not do that. So you just mess around with the amount and the angle of view, and it looks a bit nice, I guess. Yeah, okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. So yeah, we have that now with the vignette and whatnot. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna move on to adding some effects. Now, what I'm thinking, alright, is a bit of a complicated one. Well, we'll see if we can make do of it. So, right here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an adjustment layer, crop it out. I'm gonna go up to here, and what we're gonna do, you can crop it out as much as you want. What we're doing is we're gonna cough this here, and we're gonna move both sides around, and then rotate the entire thing, kind of thing. You'll see what I mean. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add something called a merchant tile over here, and what this does is it just like moves it around, and we want to turn on mirror edges, so then these both are kind of mirroring, and it makes a bit more sense. Not that it didn't make any sense anyway, because the bursts sound look weird, but whatever. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, we take the tile center, we're gonna make this like 500 for the width and the height, or maybe only the width, because realistically you wouldn't need it for anything else. So yeah, let's see, how far can we actually go? So if I do 200, yeah, just make it 200, because we don't want to make too much of them, because if we do, then it's just messy. We're gonna make this 960 again. So we're gonna move this here, this entire bit, down this way. Why is this here? Why are you here? Okay, there we go. And then we kind of end it down here, because I'm leaving some momentum essentially, because it's a bit more realistic if you think about it. And we try to make it as center as possible. There isn't any way to tell, because it's a bit of a complicated effect, but you move it and then you get to here. You can see like it's all the way here. You can't really get a way to figure it out. The only way you could tell is literally by seeing if this is the mirrored bit and like how much of it is not mirrored anymore or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. That looks much better. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna ease these. So we do F9, go to the 9 here. You can do this if you want actually. I'm just doing this as like a bonus type thing because we're literally almost done. So yeah, now we just add this, and you can see it kind of just goes. Actually, I want to make this go over here. So what it'll do is it'll just go whoop, and then go, instead of having like a beginning momentum, it just goes immediately like that. Let's see what I mean. So I'm gonna make it a bit more closer. There we go. Oh, that's way too small. Okay, there we go. I don't know if it was shared. It's the same as okay, it's fine. Well, we can just go about it then, eh? Oh wait, I have to make this before, actually, yeah. You have to make this beforehand. Wait, hang on, I'm messing this up. I'm literally messing this up. Okay, there we go. And then you just move this like that. And then what it'll do is it'll just go like this. There we go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a mask. So you double click here, and then on like while you have the adjustment layer for this one, you double click on here, and then you turn on proportional grid, and then you go drag this down to the middle. And you can see it does that. And then you can just duplicate this, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this at the top this time. And I want to make sure that it's right at there. There we go. Because we want to make it like there. And then you also want to make sure that this doesn't have like, you see this, you don't want that. So we're going to double click that and then just do that. Oh, this is going to be weird. Okay. It's a bit odd, but you just kind of mess around with it. And hopefully, if that happens, then you just go to the other one, and then you just fix it up. it's not fixing up. Oh boy. See, it's full res. Hopefully, oh, it does show up. Oh, how unfortunate. Why is it doing that? And why is this not? Huh? Might just, oh no, it's going, okay, it's going to do, oh wait, hang on, okay, hang on. I think I figured it out, okay. Is it probably just because like it's going a different way, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So we have this here. We want to bring this back to 960 because it's too far away. And then we want to just drag it. Again, we want to go, I forgot to mention this as well. You just want to go like 2 bits away because, I don't know, it looks nice like that. I'm forgetting to tell you a lot of things, you know. It's not really a great intro tutorial if I'm telling you everything that you need to do for it. But regardless, here we are. Did I perfectly line that up? Like there, sure. That'll do, I think. No, it's off. Dang it. You can, yeah, you could just use like the text to line up the bit here. And then just, you can ease these. Make sure it's eased actually. Yeah, that's all eased and all good. So, should, yeah, that's what I wanted. Perfect, alright. Now we're gonna add another adjustment layer. And this time we don't need the merchantile and we don't need the mask that it has. So we're just gonna make it rotate essentially. Yeah, okay, so actually we still need the merchantile. Make this 200 so that it at least has some height and stuff. And then again, turn on mirror edges. And then go to transform on your effects. And then just rotate it. Like on here, you press the stopwatch on the effect for transform, and then you change this to 1 full rotation. Okay. Let me just double check if that's all good. Alright, cool. I'm just gonna select all of this, F9, go to the other one here. And then you just take this, and there you go. We have this down. It might be a bit complicated, that bit, but again, you could do that if you want. You don't have to. I just showed you that as like a bonus because you can actually like do masking for adjustment layers. This is a way to show that, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna make it rotate the other way actually. -1. That is a lot. What did I do? What? Why did it do that? Why is it? That looked very weird. Okay, well then we're just gonna keep it with 1, I guess. Oh wait, okay, I know why. Okay, hang on. It's cause the thing, I think the easing is a bit messed up. So when you change up the values and you already messed around with the easing, I just recommend like you double check, see if it's all okay. In this case it is okay and it's just messing it around, so do 1. There we go. There we go. So we're finally almost there. We basically have to add a few more things like actually I want to add one more thing. Sorry, but I have to. The hue saturation thing is one thing you can add. I'm gonna add that because I kind of want to add it to just show you like, oh yeah, you can actually like change up stuff. So you just add a hue saturation from a adjustment layer. I just duplicated it because it's a lot more easier than just adding a new one continuously. It's way more easier. And this is what we can do is we can actually make the hue saturation happen and it'll change the colors and stuff. So where it says channel range, you click the watch, and you go all the way to the end and make this like 1. And basically it's just telling After Effects, just cycle through the colors. Like that, easy. So now that we have all that, it's all done. We have all the effects, we have all this sync and whatever. We're gonna composition everything into one entire comp, and then we're gonna add in our final stuff like the black bars, the transitions, and the kind of motion blur. So select everything here except for the song. Select everything, then right click and then press pre-comp and then just call it whatever. I'm gonna call it all. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna firstly crop everything out. So see where, like, we don't need to worry about this, right? Because the intro doesn't start until here. So before it starts, we're gonna crop it out. And then once it ends, which is around here, we're gonna just crop it out. And the reason why we're doing that is so then it's way more easier for us to actually render the intro, because and also to preview actually, because like if it's complicated to render, then what's the point, you know? It takes way too long, too many resources, this and that. It's too stressful. So we're gonna go onto here, click on right click, new, and then solid, add in a black solid, and then before here, or actually right here, you just crop it out, and then like right at the end you just crop it out. So how do we do the black bars? You may be thinking, okay, well you could just add like this and then just crop it out with the mask. No, that's too complicated. Instead we use something called CC draws. It can be used like a transition. Again, I think all the CC things are called CC, something like that. What we're gonna do right at the start, we're gonna actually have to fix up the draws first. It's very important. So you can see it's like an actual draw. We don't want that. So simply just make the height 0. That's it. There you go. And then just make the completion 100. And then you click on the stopwatch on completion, and then go into the second marker, and then just make it like less. You can make it however you want. I'm gonna keep it at 87%, and then I'm gonna ease them, and then do that. And just make the easing a bit more of that, and then you see it really quickly appears like that. Easy. Alright. Now you can see there's this fractal. I'm actually just gonna put this right at the start. I don't know why hang on. Why is I'm gonna put it right here. Actually no. Right here. So now we're gonna create the transition. So we're gonna create a new white solid, and we're gonna use something called CC light white. This is what I added before when I was making the text, and then it was more of an accident, really a freak accident, if you will. And we're gonna add that. So CC light wipe. Right here, it's under transit. It's literally under transitions. Oh my god. Okay. You can see we can make this all that. Make the intensity here 0, because what this does is if I make this a dark color, you can see it adds like a kind of like a light. Because again, CC light wipe, so it makes sense for it to add a light. We don't want that. We're gonna make it 0. We're gonna make it 0. So you just make it white again. And I'm gonna make the completion 0. Go like a few frames before the actual marker over here, and then I'm gonna press U, and then go to the end, and then press completion, and then it should be what? Oh wait, no, okay, never mind. It's because usually if you have the thing a bit more less, like over here, for example. And it weren't sure, just like increase it a little bit and then it'll actually show you. So you can see it does it again. It's linear, so we want to Okay, press F9 and then do the thing at like 1, like that, and then it'll just kind of show up. You can already see it. Now you may be thinking, okay, well, we did that, but like, why is it that it just crops out of nowhere? Well, if we duplicate this and then we change the normal to silhouette alpha by doing the toggle switches, and then you do silhouette alpha, and then if we move it, you can see we have the thing now and it's kind of off. Not only that, we also have an alpha channel now. So when we export it as an MOV, then you can use it. It's like a really good green screen, actually. It's way better green screen than actually doing a green screen or a blue screen or whatever. Just doing an alpha is way easier than doing a green screen in general. It's amazing, really. So yeah, since we have that now, we can just do the same thing for the end over here, in which I'm just gonna do like a line wipe. So we're gonna duplicate this. We're gonna put this one's the normal one. You just duplicate the normal one, and you put it above the silhouette one for the start transition. And we're gonna remove the CC light wipe. I'm gonna add a line wipe or line sweep. I think, yeah, line sweep. No, what the frick? Okay, what was it? Line wipe. No, it's not this. I forgot what it was called. Hang on. I swear it was called line sweep. I swear it was called line wipe or something like that. Wipe. Let's do wipe. Let's just see what that thing shows for wipe. Again, you can just do this and then look through them. Easy as pie. Linear wipe. That's what it was called. It's called linear wipe. It's called linear wipe. I mean, it makes sense. It's literally a straight line. Like, that's all it is. What we're gonna do, so you can use the transition here, and then the angle. You can just make it up to here, so then it just wipes down here like this. So we're gonna make it 100. Press on this watch again, and then go all the way to the end. I'm gonna cover up all that because it needs to cover up all that a little bit. And then again, I'm doing this like a few frames before the actual marker, and then we just go and end it over here. And you can see it's linear and looks weird, which we don't want. So we just ease them, and then we go to the marker, and we kind of just use it as like an in-between thing. It's like a really nice quick way of the thing. Okay, there we go. So now again, we do the same thing as what we did over here. We duplicate it, silhouette alpha, and then we add a nice little thing. So now we have this. Now there's one thing left, and it's the actual motion blur, which actually somewhat enhances some things of the intro. So again, right click, new adjustment layer, and then over here do the cropping, so then it's a bit more easier on your computer to render, and also so then it's quicker to render. What we want to add is we want to add a pixel motion blur. You can use the default motion blur here, but in my opinion, what I've found is that it isn't really the best. So you can see it doesn't really look that nice. I don't really like it in my personal opinion, so I just use pixel motion blur because it actually creates like proper motion blur, kind of. It's a bit iffy. And we'll just have to render this. But you can see like why I cropped it out, because like when you add like other stuff like a pixel motion blur, it gets a bit more complicated, and then as a result you kind of just have to, it takes a while to render things. So yeah. And then Alright, this is like the worst I'll do. It has to re-render. Why? Oh wait, I think it's because I accidentally pressed something. Okay, well, fine. Alright, there you go. You see, it's a bit more smoother. So yeah, that's basically how you add the stuff like that. So yeah, now that we're basically completely done with this, like this is all completely finished. Like this is the final result. It's a lot more smoother. It looks a lot nicer. Now all we have to do is we have to render it. Now, there are many ways you can render it. One of these ways is by simply getting After Effects to do all the job. And the benefit of that is literally just you get an MRV file and all that. But the downside is like if you were using, say, a green screen, because somebody said, oh, you have to make it a green screen. And by the way, if you want to do a green screen, just like, and you already did alpha and stuff, just do like a new solid, then just make it green, and then just put it underneath everything, and then just like boom, it's all done. Oh no, it doesn't do that. I lied. Just make them all green then. Again, Control-Shift-Y and stuff. But yeah, well, what you do, you can just like use this. It's native, it works, and yeah, it's nice. You can also use Adobe Media Encoder. I'm pretty sure it does do MRV files, but I don't really remember. But yeah, it does them. So if you wanna, you can use the MRVs, because MOV will actually make it transparent, as you can see, like here. Or I think MKV also does it, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to do it on the render queue there, on the default After Effects. So let's save before we do anything. You have to make sure that the composition with everything on here is selected, not like this one or this one. The one that has every single thing on it, which is this one here, comp 1 in my case, with like all the adjustment layers, everything, the black bars, pixel, motion blur, whatever, and the song and whatnot, that has to be selected. Otherwise, if you're selecting this, then it'll just render a shape. So yeah, you just have to make sure this one is selected. And then what you do is you go into File, Export, and then Add to Render Queue. And you can see it's basically created this here. The render settings here, you can make this like whatever you want. You can make it best. Again, make sure this is in full quality. Make sure the quality is best, so then it like actually renders it properly. Everything else, don't worry about it. Make sure the frame rate is 60, and then press OK. Lossless, the output module, you have to make this QuickTime and then do RGB plus alpha, because that'll actually tell After Effects, okay, I want this alpha as well while I'm rendering it and whatnot. So yeah, press OK, and then you output this to wherever you want. So you can output this like, I don't know, in your videos file and whatnot. So yeah, and then you call it like, I don't know, intro tutorial, and then yeah, you press save. And then you can press render, and then it'll render everything and whatever. So yeah, that's really how you make an intro. Again, this is the final result. Although it's in quarter mode, you probably saw it already and whatnot. So yeah, that's about it really. This is how you make an intro tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. We went on for about 2 hours really. It's a 2-hour intro tutorial. Oh boy. But yeah, that's about it. Bye.